What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Free agency has been wild. I think that's the word to describe it. It's been wild. Teams making moves left and right. Um, All-star caliber players going places that maybe we didn't envision them going, before free agency began. But it's happened. It's happened, and I'm here to talk about it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. This is a place all about NBA basketball. So if you love hoops, this is the place for you. And I guess the place to start is the Lakers. I don't think I talked about them enough in my video the other day, but on Tuesday, they made a lot of moves. I don't think I talked enough about Dwight Howard going back to LA after 1 year in Philly. Trevor Ariza going there, Wayne Ellington. I think the Wayne Ellington one is a big time move because that is a legit 3-point shooter to try and they're trying to replace KCP, who was close to 40% for them the last couple years. And I think Wayne Ellington, he shot like 43% last year, and he's a shooter, and he's going to shoot the ball. I think he's going to really be effective within this Laker offense. They got Kent Bazemore. They got, of course, Russell Westbrook. But yesterday they made 3 more moves that could prove to be big-time additions. I think low-risk, high-reward type of moves. And the big one was, of course, Carmelo Anthony going to L.A., getting the team up with one of his best friends, LeBron James. I think that's awesome. That's cool. We get to see Melo on a real title contender, a real title contending team. And I think it's going to be exciting. And the good thing is he's not going to be relied upon so heavily, I think. But I think if he buys into his role, which he's bought into his role so well over the last couple of years in Portland, I think he's going to be fine. He's going to have some big moments in LA. I really like that move. But the 2 moves that I love even more, and that's kind of crazy because I do love Melo going to LA, but Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk. And they also re-signed Talon Horton-Tucker. I love all 3 of those moves. I really do. Let's start with the Kendrick Nunn one because that one was really out of left field. I did not expect Kendrick Nunn to end up as a Laker, but that just gives them just a scoring guard off their bench. And one thing about Kendrick Nunn, this is the one thing he's going to do. He's going to shoot the ball. He does not lack confidence at all. He's going to shoot the ball as many times as he can. And coming off that Laker bench, that's all they're going to need for him to do. And I think that was an A-plus addition by Rob Pelinka. He's done some amazing moves in this free agency. I think Malik Monk's the same way. He is a volume shooting guard, and he's best suited to come off your bench and just put up shots. And I think he's somebody that can reach a new – I think – he was playing so good in Charlotte last year before he got hurt, and he had the suspension at the beginning of the season. I think he was starting to find his way a little bit, and that's, coming off the bench, just being able just to shoot the ball, put up as many shots as possible off of somebody's bench. And now he gets to do it for a team that's looking to win a championship. So I think we're going to see the best of Malik Monk. Kendrick Nunn has experienced his rookie year. He was playing in the NBA Finals. He had got out of the rotation in the playoffs when they made the finals, found his way back in, and then was in a rotation last season, played pretty solidly. And now he gets to go to another team that's competing for a championship. You leave one good situation, you go to one that might be even better. You get to play with, some of the best players in the world, and LeBron, AD, Russell Westbrook. I like those 2 additions a lot. And bringing back THC, I didn't know if they were going to be able to do it. I don't know where the Lakers are pulling all this money from, but they're finding a way to get a bunch of options. There's some youth in that locker room now, because at first I was thinking like the Lakers they're making some really good moves, but they are old as hell. They are so old. Like LeBron's turning 37, AD's turning 30, I think. Dwight's like 36, 37. Melo's like 37. Like, these guys are old. Mark Gasol, he's old. But they bring some youth in there. They bring THT back, who's like 22. Kendrick Nunn's very young. Malik Monk is pretty young too. He's only been in the league like 3 or 4 years. I'll say this is they might be the winners of the offseason. I still haven't really decided yet, but I'm talking about some of the teams that are making the best moves in this video, and the Lakers are definitely one of those teams. I think they position themselves to be a much more well-rounded team than they were last season. Great job by Pelinka and that front office. They just did an exceptional job over the first 2 days of free agency. They didn't make any moves today, but great job by the Lakers front office. Let's talk about the Bulls. We already touched on Lonzo Ball, Caruso. I like those moves a lot. But getting DeMar DeRozan getting DeMar DeRozan. Look, the Bulls, they got no excuses not to make the postseason this year. No excuses, man. Unless they deal with a bunch of injuries or something. God forbid that. They have no reason not to be a playoff team. And I'm not talking about a play-in team. They should be firmly in the playoff race. The East is getting a lot stronger though, but they should be in the playoffs. The moves that they made this offseason to go along with Vucevic, Zach LaVine, you get Lonzo Ball, who's the point guard that you've been missing. Now you can move Kobe White when he comes back from his injury to a bench role, which I think he will be well suited to be a scoring guard off the bench. Getting DeMar DeRozan is big time. You do lose Thaddeus Young, who's a big piece to this team. Last season he was, just that vet, that well-rounded dude that kept everything together, the glue guy. Losing him could be big, but I think you get Patrick Williams to kind of step up into that role, and I think he will be a good piece, to learn under DeMar DeRozan, because DeMar is a vet, even though he's still in 30, 31 years old. But, similar, they kind of have a similar mold, similar type games. I think that would be a good guy to learn from. And Patrick Williams showed a lot of promise in year one. And I think he's going to step right in, play small ball forward for this team coming into this season if they don't make any more moves to maybe bring in a, legit power forward. But I love what the Bulls have done. But now there's no excuses not to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that this is a contending team in the Eastern Conference, but they should be fun. They should be a playoff team, and Bulls fans should be very, very excited and happy after this offseason, man. They should be very happy, given that you traded away now, I think, 3 or 4 first-round picks to get, a couple all-star players to go alongside Zach LaVine. Because if you didn't do that, you were probably going to lose Zach LaVine. Either he was going to request a trade or, he was going to leave in free agency whenever his contract was up. So, A-plus job by the Bulls. You may not be a contending team, like I said, but you got to take a step somewhere. And now, you're expecting to make the playoffs now. You're expected to make the playoffs now. So let's see how it goes for the Bulls. And another team out east I want to talk about, the Knicks. The Knicks. My dad's a Knicks fan. He's a big Knicks fan. And this morning, Kemba Walker, it was a surprise. He got bought out by OKC. And it was reported that he's going to sign with the Knicks. Like, that's the plan. And I sent that to my dad, and he was like, that just made me more upset about this offseason. We had all that cap space, and we didn't do anything with it. I'm like, man, I think y'all did an amazing job given the market, given all the players that were available on the market. You guys did an amazing job doing what you could with the money and still being very flexible. Still being a very flexible team, whether it's to make a trade in the future or not. The Knicks traded back in the draft to free up a little more cap space, and I think they made the most out of it. Getting Fournier, I think, was an upgrade over Reggie Bullock. Reggie Bullock was a very solid, very good player for them last season, but they lacked shot creating. They lacked shot creating in the postseason. And Evan Fournier, even though he looked bad in Boston, I think that's because he didn't really have a defined role in Boston at all. And there was little to no playmaking in that Celtics backcourt or the Celtics team as a whole. I think having Fournier as a legit shot creator who can put up, 17, 18 points a game is a very good addition to the team that they lacked last season. Bringing Derrick Rose back, but now bringing in Kemba so Derrick Rose doesn't have to play heavy minutes. And Kemba doesn't have to play heavy minutes because you got two guards that, dealing with, knee issues in the past. They can both, kind of be managed a little better now. You still have Emmanuel Quickly, who I think in year 2 is going to take another nice step forward. Of course, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. You got Nerlens Noel back. Alec Burks is back off the bench. This team is going to be really – I think they're going to be a really good team, and I think they can build off of what they did last season. Look, Knicks fans should be very happy with their offseason, man, because, before, the Knicks weren't signing anybody. A guy like Evan Fournier wasn't going to go to the Knicks. D-Rose wouldn't have re-signed. Kemba wouldn't have want to go there, but now the Knicks are building a foundation. This front office should be trusted by Knicks fans that they're going to make the right moves, and now they're still flexible because maybe if a star like Damian Lillard becomes available, you could throw in R.J. Barrett and Evan Fournier, maybe an Obi Toppin and some picks, and you could maybe get Dame away from New York. Or if another star player becomes available, you're flexible while still being a good team. Probably not contending, because there's still a lot of really good teams in the East, but still going to be a good team nonetheless. And another winner in this free agency is the Miami Heat. I think they walk away. They walk away winners, given how last season ended. There are still a couple gripes I have about this team, But I think they can get back to the foundation that they had when they made the NBA Finals in the bubble. One, rewarding Jimmy Butler, giving him an extension. You're going to be paying him a lot of money when he's like 37 years old. But he's the culture. He is, the definition of this Heat culture. As hardworking as they come, we know about the 4 a.m. gym sessions and all that. He deserves the money because he's helped build the foundation of this Miami Heat team. I think Bam's going to take another step forward, but let's talk about some of their signings. Re-signing Duncan Robinson. Look, if there's any kids watching this video, like middle schoolers, maybe you're a freshman in high school, learn how to shoot the ball. Learn how to shoot the ball, because if you get to the top level of being a shooter, you're gonna make a lot of money for your family. Your mama will never have to work again. Your kids will never have to work. You're gonna make a lot of money for your family if you can shoot the ball at the highest levels. Now it's a lot easier said than done. But Duncan Robinson, take his story, undrafted, used to play D3, 6'8" skinny shooting guard. Take his story and chase your dreams, man. Learn how to shoot the ball, because they're giving away a lot of money. $90 million over 5 years for Duncan Robinson. That's a lot of money, but he does one thing exceptionally well. He can shoot the ball. And I'm glad that he got his payday, because his story is crazy. He has a great podcast, the Long Shot Pod. Shout out to that podcast. Shout out to the Heat for rewarding their guys, and that's why people want to go there. That's why Kyle Lowry wants to go there. That's why he got 3 years, $90 million. You think Kyle Lowry at this age, I think he's like 33 years old, getting paid $30 million again? Like, this is like I think this is his third straight contract where he's making $30 million a year. He wanted him. They got him. They did have to give up, I think they gave up Dragic and Precious Achiuwa and maybe a first-round pick to get Kyle Lowry onto the squad. But this is the guard that they needed, man. Kyle Lowry's going to be somebody. I think I said in my video the other day that he might not be an all-star again. He could be an all-star again, being on a good team. I think he could still put up 18 to 20, 21 points a game, honestly, especially in this Heat team that needs guys that can get shots, that can create shots. And I think Kyle Lowry can create shots really well. He's an upgrade from Goran Dragic. Really good defender, even though he's only like 6 feet tall. And that's the story about this Heat team. PJ Tucker, I would say he's very similar to what Jay Crowder brought to this team a couple years ago. Just a gritty, forward that can guard multiple positions, shoots the corner three exceptionally well. And PJ Tucker is gonna go out and guard the best player on the other side, so Jimmy Butler doesn't have to do it. So Jimmy Butler, can get rested a little bit on defense. And that's just I love that addition so much. PJ Tucker is somebody that, even at his age, teams want him. That's why he's on a different team a lot, because teams want him. That's why Jay Crowder's on different teams a lot. Teams need a really good 3-and-D, forward that can guard multiple positions and shoot the heck out of the ball. The Miami Heat did their thing. They did lose Kendrick Nunn, but I think they'll be fine. They did lose a young asset in Precious, but I think they'll be fine. I would like to see them maybe get a little deeper and get some more guys that can get shots. Like, hell, Lou Will's still on the market. Lou Will would be perfect for this team, just to get buckets off their bench. Or maybe Tyler Hero rebounds from his kind of low year or two after having a very good rookie season. But I was thinking the other day, like, that's kind of like how Jason Tatum was. Hate to bring it back to the Celtics. That's how Jason Tatum was. Year one, he had a lot of hypes around him, had a very good playoff run. Year two, kind of regressed a little bit, but then year three took a big step forward. Tyler Hero could be somebody that really just dominates off the bench this season. And there's going to be a lot of shots available off that Miami Heat bench. But I think they have kind of vaulted themselves back into being a contending team in the East. Maybe still a little under the radar. Does it change how I think the East is going to play out? Not really, but it's another team to watch out for. Still think the Nets are kind of superior. And I don't want to write off the defending champs either. But I think it's a little more interesting. We'll see what Philly does with the rest of free agency. They got Andre Drummond. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I think if Drummond buys into his role, he'll just be a great backup that only has to play 15 to 20 minutes a game. And can be, really good if he buys into his role. Still see if now they're kind of open to keeping Ben Simmons. I don't know how they can repair that relationship, because it seems to be pretty broke right now. But they're asking for way too much to get rid of Ben Simmons. And I like Ben Simmons a lot, but man, 4 first-round picks and a young all-star caliber players, that's asking a lot for Ben Simmons, who just came off of like the worst playoff performance from an all-NBA player that you will see. Yeah, I don't know. The East is actually getting very deep. I expect the Pacers to be a lot better this season with new head coaching. I expect the Celtics to rebound from last season. We'll see what the Wizards do. They just signed Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't know. We'll see if Bradley Beal even wants to still be there. He tweeted the like thinking emoji earlier, but the cycle of Bradley Beal, 1 minute it seems like he doesn't want to be there. Then he's like, I'm all in on DC. So I don't know. He's kind of confusing, but I don't know. There's still some dominoes that could potentially be falling. You know, what if Dame really wants out because the Trailblazers ain't doing a thing? They haven't done anything. I think the highlight of their offseason was bringing in Cody Zeller. Like, they ain't done nothing, bro. If I was Dame, man, I would be fed up. I would be completely fed up with what my front office is doing because they're not doing anything. And they got a lot of money tied up into 3 guards. And you traded your young guard away to pay Norman Powell $90 million. Shout out to Norman Powell for getting a payday. Yeah, if I was Dame, I'll be really frustrated, and I would be voicing my frustrations a lot more than what he is. But he is playing in the Olympics right now, so I understand that. We might hear some news once the Olympics is over from Dame being a little unhappy because he should be, for sure. Dallas hasn't really made too many moves other than Reggie Bullock. I'm just trying to think of teams that aren't making as many moves. The Celtics haven't made as much. Who knows? There's still some free agents on the market that could, help a team out. Like Reggie Jackson's still out there, but I think he might go back to the Clippers. If he hasn't got a bag right now, he'll probably go back to the Clippers. I didn't get to talk about Devontae Graham the other day. I'm going all over the place, but I didn't get to talk about Devontae Graham going to the Pelicans. I've seen both sides of it. Some people being a little unhappy because they were trying to get Kyle Lowry. They struck out immediately. They didn't want to pay Zoe the contract he got. Shout out to Zoe and Rich Paul for getting him the bag. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But the Pelicans didn't think he was worth that money, and he got it with the Bulls. So shout out to him. And they get Devontae Graham, but they trade a first-round pick to get him in the signing trade. I'm like, Devontae, I like Devontae. He had a down year last season. Just wasn't hitting his shots last year at all compared to the year before where he was like 40% from deep, and he was shooting like 11 threes a game. He was shooting the same volume, but he just wasn't making shots last season. It was like league average from three-point range. He's going to have to really get back to that year 2 Devontae because Brandon Ingram and Zion, the 2 All-Stars for the Pelicans, they wanted Zoe back. And this seems like a make it or break it year for the Pelicans. Like, if they don't make the playoffs, man, if they don't make the playoffs, you're gonna start hearing a lot more rumblings about Zion being unhappy, and that's crazy for a player as young as he is to already be voicing frustrations. Not him personally, but his camp is. He's on his 3rd head coach in 3 years. It's a very important season for the Pelicans. They made one good move when they traded away. They got rid of Bledsoe and Steven Adams, but they haven't done much with that cap space. Haven't done much with it, so I don't know, man. Devontae Graham, he's going to have to be a hit this season, and the Pelicans are going to have to be a playoff team, I think, because Zion's seen Ja, he's seen Trae Young, Luka, and company have success in the playoffs at early stages of their career. And Zion has, not really gotten the opportunity to be in the playoffs. So, important year for the Pelicans. I seen this thing earlier, as I mentioned, how the Pelicans thought Zoe was not worth $80 million. That's what Rich Paul wanted before the season when they were negotiating. They're like, nah, he's not worth that. And now he got 85. So shout out to Zoe. Rich Paul's the GOAT of all agents in the league. So shout out to them, man, for getting it together. This is like a 20-minute video, but I missed yesterday and most of today's free agency, so I had to talk about some of the winners. And I'm glad to see guys getting paid. That's the main part. I love to see guys getting their bags. And let's see if any more dominoes fall, man, because there's been so many unexpected moves. We're still waiting on Kawhi to sign. So there's been so many unexpected moves. Hopefully, we get some more breaking news so we can talk about it, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'll be back next time to talk more free agency and any more news that happens, man. I'm out though. Peace.